Also for Lindenwood, they wrap up a trophy here. They're hanging on to fourth by a 1.5 over McKendry, who still has a wrestler to come. Your Lindenwood here and Romero, you clinch a top 4, put your team on the podium here with a win. So big stuff here for Abner Romero as an individual and as a teammate for his Lindenwood wrestlers.
Romero will be in the green anklet, black and gold combination singlet. As for Turniff, he's in the yellow singlet with NSU across the front of his chest. Flurry of action to start off.
Oh, beautiful little ankle pick right away by Romero on a takedown.
Quick 2-point takedown.
Oh, as Turniff trying to elevate that leg. Romero staying anchored on him. They're still in bounds.
Kind
of a judo drop there. Only typically you see it from your feet, but you kind of
that was
caught behind the legs.
Little mat return there.
Region champ coached by head coach Jim Mikowski and the rest of the Minnesota State Maverick coaching staff.
Romero still has his feet in.
His opponent is Abner
Romero. Get back in there and go back to the middle. His flurry of activity, 45 seconds in.
He's a Super Region 4 champion. And his coach
Romero fought off that early scramble and amassed a lot of riding time there on the edge of the mat. Full 32 seconds now.
Quick to his feet is Turniff, fighting hands. There it is. There's that judo drop. When he does it from his feet there to Romero to return him back to the mat.
Now in a good spot is Romero. Opponent's stomach on the mat. Now he's going to switch to the leg ride. Oh, nice power there, low center of gravity. Get those hips low, below your opponent. Bring him back down to the mat.
Still keeping pressure on. They were on the edge of the mat, over on the other side before the reset. Now Romero, he's not going to let that foot go out of bounds and keep working on the clock, working on the pressure.
You talk about edge of the mat wrestling, especially in college. Very liberal with what you can do on the edge of the mat and even out of bounds. And Romero using it to his advantage now. He's a bulk of this minute 23 riding time, Todd, has been really on the edge of the mat when the opponent's completely out of bounds. Romero keeps the toe in, dragging it like a wide receiver on the sideline and building a ton of riding time here.
Romero, a junior, has to his feet is Turniff trying to get away, dropping down to the leg is Romero. Now he's going to elevate it and covers again. But Romero, the junior out of Fresno, California, went to one of the national powerhouses, Buchanan High School. He was a 3-time qualifier and a runner-up at 160 pounds 1 year. And Joe, what we know about California, one division. If you're state champ, you are state champ.
You think your state's tough? Go to California. It'll show you what it's really like. Unbelievable. I had a chance to cover that turn a couple years ago. It's unbelievable.
It's almost mind-boggling. A state that big can only have one class.
Let's go to work down there. Let's go to work. Let's go to work.
I was watching a documentary, and they followed a team through the whole postseason in California. It seemed like there was 4 or 5 different levels before you even got to the state tournament.
Well, it's the truest sense of like a professional sports playoff where, you go through a month of playoffs. It's kind of the same thing in the California high school because there's so many schools and only 16 make it to the state tournament individuals. It's unbelievable. Now a stalling call here on bottom. So what a first period here for Abner Romero.
Just a reflection how tough Romero is riding. Turniff, the red shirt junior. Out of your state, Wisconsin.
Maybe I can hitch a ride back home with him.
Is it De Paris? Is it French? De Pere. I overcomplicated it there.
Suburb of Green Bay. Go Pack.
Last year, as a sophomore, he went 18-6. He was runner-up in Super Regional for Turniff. Romero comes back around, puts 2 more points on the board.
Close to near fall there. You see, that's the problem on bottom. When you hang onto the leg, your opponent can step over. And Romero now just a good old-fashioned half Nelson. Dangerous there for Trevor Turniff, the 2 seed, hanging onto that leg maybe just a bit too long.
Drive it forward, Abner. There, keep him flat.
Here, the Lindenwood coaches, Jimmy Rollins and company, telling Romero to keep the pressure on as he's ready. 3 minutes of riding time with a minute left in this second period. That's the thing is you know, a lot of people said, well, maybe institute riding time in high school, but it's one of those things in college, it's such an essence that you could take the starch out of your opponent, like you were talking about earlier, that, man, I mean, there's some high school guys at the elite level, and they know how to ride just like a college kid, and you get that extra point.
Yeah, and I think, again, going back to, I think it's as much mental as anything else. I mean, it's only a point, but it's just humiliating your opponent on top, you know, for a minute, too, and just making him work and carry that weight. Such a psychological advantage for that top wrestler.
Now nearing 3.5 minutes of riding time for Abner Romero, and he's got him in criteria. Trying to get in deep. See if he rights himself as Turniff trying to get out of there. Now coming out the back, Romero clinging to that leg in a scramble situation.
Now Romero's got to be careful here because it's Turniff with the leg lock, kind of a cradle. Wild scramble here.
Short time here in the second period.
That's a race against the clock for both these guys now, Todd, as they both hang on to an ankle. I think Romero's going to be victorious on that scramble, not giving up any points.
No back points, and one of the things that you tell your kids is whether it's a half Nelson especially, you have to anticipate that rollout, and it looked like Romero had him in criteria and in a situation to get right there off the whistle. Low single for Romero.
Literally right off the whistle, drops down to the low single. See if he can finish it here.
Turniff, he wants that stalemate, and he'll get it. 13 seconds in. But you always tell your kids, a half, anticipate they're going to roll through, and then you come, you know, with a reverse half, and in that situation, it just turned into a straight scramble where it was a 50-50.
There's that low single again, kind of that jab step.
See if Romero can swim his arm, or it'll be another stalemate for the second sequence in a row.
You're fine here, though, if you're Romero. It's all about eating down that clock. You got a 5-point lead. You're in fine position right here.
4 minutes. 4:02 is the riding time for the Lindenwood Lions. Turniff has to get something going. Essentially down 5-0 as we reach the 1 minute mark left in regulation.
Well, Turniff's have to scramble every match to get here. 1- and 2-point victories in the quarters and semis, but have to come up with something big here in the final minute.
There it is. Finish on top.
Nice counter that time, maybe anticipating the low single.
2-point takedown.
Still a long way to go if your Turniff's going to quick cut him here.
1 point escape, Romero.
30. Good shot.
Romero clings onto that leg under 30. Like you say, he's trying to milk that clock. But he's got to be careful even with essentially a 6-2 lead.
Turniff tried to roll through, maybe desperation roll, doesn't work out. That should cement it here for Romero and also cement Lindenwood's spot in the top 4 here in the team race. Big
Time
win.
ticks down, and that will do it. The number 1 seed is the number 1 man when it's all said and done. The Lindenwood Lion, Abner Romero, your national champion.
Great scrambling ability by Romero, especially in that top position. Was able to avoid trouble on a couple of would-be scramble attempts. Nearly got the pin on that leg ride, kind of showing a wide array of tricks to pick up a national title here at 174. Opened up the bag of technique in that one.
Take a look at the highlights from this one.
That was his go-to move, man. That kind of a half ankle pick, half low single, 2 seconds into the period twice. You hit that takedown and just a hammer on top, Todd. 4 minutes plus a riding time. Sprinkle in this great reversal here, as we nearly got the pin in that scramble, and really never looked back. Got the takedown 13 seconds in and picks up 4+ minutes of riding time for the win.
Let's talk to Abner Romero, the Lindenwood Lion, who's the champion at 174. Abner, you dominated through this tournament. 4s were wild. In 4 matches, you outscored your opponents 44-4. What was your mindset coming into this tournament to put on such a dominating performance?
Believe in myself, my training, and as long as I go out there and wrestle for a full 7, good things happen and no one can touch it.
Last year, Abner, you went into the national tournament. You were a 7 seed, 10-1. It didn't happen. What was your motivation? What were the things that you did in the offseason to be ready to come here in 2021?
The motivation was exactly that. It didn't happen. It was just back to the drawing board. I mean, not really, but just back to what I was doing. I knew eventually we were going to be back here, and I just needed to make sure I stay ready so I didn't have to get ready when it came time.
Well, congratulations, Abner Romero. The Lindenwood Lion fishes 12-0. The hometown guy gets the 174-pound national title.